In Chad, 40% of the children under 5 years old are malnourished. We aim to change that. Our NGO, Chad Health and Agricultural Development, will bring sustainable farming methods and accessible food to the malnourished population of Chad. We picture a world within our lifetime in which children and adults in Chad lead healthy lives free from malnutrition and uncertainty in where their next meal. Some of the greatest modern issues faced by Chad are food insecurity and extreme rates of malnutrition. In 2018, the number of children suffering from severe acute malnutrition, or SAM, and requiring hospitalization has increased 45% compared to previous years. The rates of severe acute malnutrition in Chad are double the number defined as emergency level by the World Health Organization. Chad is especially vulnerable to food insecurity in June and July due to lack of fertile land and proper climate, including the desertification of Lake Chad, the country's primary source of potable water. The country's state of emergency has many effects on the population, including chronic poverty, low resilience, and insufficient resources. The leading cause of mortality for women in Chad is maternal malnutrition caused by insufficient food consumption, diets low in nutritional value, and frequent infections.
The first project objective that my group, Chad, decided we would tackle is furthering education regarding the ability to grow crops year-round using new techniques and methods. This truly is the underlying issue with food shortages in the desert areas of the country, as the same methods are being employed every year and they fail to produce sufficient food consistently. There is a number of reasons why this is the problem, but mainly it is the fact that the new agricultural techniques have not been brought to the area yet. Chad has a very specific climate alternating between wet and dry seasons, resulting in a very unique soil composition. This soil is not suited for the traditional growing methods that are currently being used, as these methods were not designed for such an extreme place. Therefore, education regarding how to properly work the soil to achieve sufficient amounts and varieties of food year-round is the solution. Specifically, we would like to set up centers with small fields where seminars would be hosted on a consistent basis. These seminars would be free to attend and would cover all the necessary skills to grow crops in the environment. We also plan to distribute the bare essentials needed by farmers, such as drought-resistant seeds and basic equipment such as irrigation hoses. A risk we anticipate with this objective is how our advertising will be received by the local population. We expect that cultural norms and stigmas will stand in the way of people coming to our seminars, even if they are for the better. We plan to mitigate this risk by partnering with established and respected organizations already in the area, such as Africare and Farm Africa.
Our second objective is to target the health of Chad's vulnerable population, mothers-to-be, pregnant women, and young children. According to the Borgen Project, Chad has one of the highest rates of maternal mortality in the world, a rate of 6.7%, or 1 in 15 women. By guaranteeing mothers and children have the proper nutrition and essential vitamins through priority access to these resources, we can slow malnutrition, which begins with mothers and creates a positive feedback cycle as these children eventually become mothers. By creating new generations of healthy populations, we can help to prevent birth defects and child death. A potential risk that we anticipate is the cultural barrier. Chad has a patriarchal culture which has tendencies that may inhibit resources from getting to or prioritizing mothers. We plan on mitigating this risk by partnering with women's centers from other organizations already impacting women in Chad. We plan on partnering with these centers to provide women with prenatal vitamins and essential nutrition. We can monitor the success of this objective by observing Chad's child malnutrition rate and maternal mortality, measured annually by the United Nations. We plan on also conducting our own surveys through the Women's Center to observe our organization's impact and tailor our resources to meet their needs.
Last but not least, the third objective is to create a transportation infrastructure and road maintenance from the tropical area of Chad to desert area, and to establish a network of drivers to continue to support. The reason why improving transportation is important is that road conditions in Chad aren't very good. Although Jamina main roads are paved, other roads are mostly dirt and sand. Possessing no railroad, Chad is heavily reliant on its 32,000-kilometer road network for the transport of agricultural goods, and for linking its widely dispersed population with social services. However, only around 263 kilometers of the roads are paved, and during the rainy season, mid-June to mid-September, many roads become impassable or are restricted by flooding. If the road transportation improves, the surplus of resources produced from the tropical area can be distributed efficiently. This will ultimately positively affect malnutrition crisis because it'll be easier to distribute food resources around the country. There are many places in Chad that has agricultural potential, like Salamat, and in order to take advantage of these potentials, it is important to reinforce roads with concrete-based roads that connect these places with the desert areas or the cities like Jamena. This objective will benefit many people from safer, cheaper transport of agricultural goods and enjoy improved access to hospitals, schools, and workplaces. And in order to maintain the project's success due to transportation, there will be project coordination unit that provides progress reports of how the project is going semi-annually within the 3-year plan and compared to previous year's work.
From the start, we are planning to partner with local organizations AfriCare and Farm Africa in order to gain the citizens' trust and to work together to achieve the objectives. We plan to start our venture out with our third objective, as transportation is the most complex and will require the most time to become self-sustaining. Around a year in, we will begin our first and second objectives in the desert areas. After 6 months, we plan to be established in the area and have women's centers open, along with educational seminars running on a consistent basis. After 3 years in the area, we expect to be a known entity and will be receiving less cultural opposition. Additionally, we plan to start seeing the benefits of the transportation system we set up coming to fruition in the northern deserts. At 4 years, we plan to be in the transition phase where we ensure that the country will have the resources to keep the program running for the foreseeable future.